Are you in search of your perfect cup of coffee at home? Do you crave a fresh cup of joe from the comfort of your own kitchen? Well, look no further, because Black Sun Coffee is here to help. The medium roast from Black Sun Coffee features notes of Brazil nut, grapefruit, and oak. The freshness is guaranteed to start your day off right. Go to blacksuncoffee.com, that's BLVCK, and use the promo code Confidence20 for 20% off your next purchase.
The Confidence Factor. The Confidence Factor.
You've done the work. You've learned your craft. You see the vision. You can feel it, touch it, taste it. It's so unbelievably clear to you. You know you have what it takes to bring that vision to life. But there's one small problem. No one else gets it. Do you abandon the vision? Do you set the vision aside and come back to it later? Do you alter the vision to make it more palatable to other people? Or do you just keep forging ahead? Today's guest shows us what can happen when you mix a clear vision with confidence, ambition, and just a little bit of audacity. Let's listen.
The Confidence Factor.
So, I'm about to rattle off this list of all the things today's guest does, and you may not believe it is possible to do and be all of these things, but I'm here to tell you, because I've witnessed most of them firsthand, that it is. Today's guest is a singer, voice researcher, voice teacher, music director, professor, clinician, author, entrepreneur, and budding social media star. A singer, today's guest has been featured as a soloist in many productions, choirs, groups, and stages. Some of those organizations include the Akron Symphony, Opera Columbus, Opera Project Columbus, Tuscarora's Philharmonic, and Ricky Dillard and the New Generation Chorale. He has also served as a music director and vocal coach for many musical productions in the community, including with the Millennial Theater Project, the Youngstown Playhouse, and the Akron Art Museum. He is an assistant professor of theater at Point Park University, a professor of voice at St. Mary's College of California, and an adjunct professor at Youngstown State University. He also holds a Bachelor of Arts in Music from the University of Akron, has earned a Master of Arts in Voice Pedagogy from the Ohio State University, and has completed coursework in Communication Sciences and Disorders at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. He is the founder of the Jaron LeGrair Studio, an international studio that specializes in providing voice training for singers and speakers. Through his studio, he has branched into providing goods and wearable merchandise that promotes holistic and vocal health. His studio has garnered attention from celebrities and has a vastly growing YouTube channel with over 12,000 subscribers, with a 12,000 subscriber increase in a matter of just 3 months. As a researcher, he has presented research on various voice-related topics around the world. Now, I don't read the entire bio, but it is critical to this man's journey, which I am honored to have been a small part of. Please welcome my favorite LeGrair and my favorite person to take pictures with. Yes, I'm going on record. Everybody know it. Mr. Jaron LeGrair. Welcome to the Confidence Factor.
Hello,
friend.
friend.
So yeah, Manny might kill me, but it's okay.
He'll be all right.
I was telling my mom on the way here, I'm like, I have an entire Facebook album devoted to pictures of the two of us.
That's right. It's never going away.
It's never going away. This has been a thing for years. So, years. Decade. Over decade. Yeah.
Right. Wow.
So, needless to say, we've been in each other's lives for quite some time. Forever. Uh-oh. Okay, I think I accidentally hit mute.
Oh.
Okay, so we're going to go back.
Okay.
And I'm just going to say, we've been in each other's lives forever.
Oh,
So, so we've been knowing each other forever.
Yeah, yeah, apparently so. I mean, I was trying to think when you asked me, when did we meet? And I honestly can't remember ever, quote unquote, meeting you or like meeting people. I feel like I've always known you. I just feel like, okay, yeah, Leah's always been there. It's never been I met Leah when. Right. It's never been that. It's just always been, oh, yeah, Leah. That's just Leah, so, yeah.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you today.
I know, likewise. It looks like a little bit of a reunion.
I know. We haven't seen each other in a while. So we're just going to have a little conversation about confidence and let's just see how it goes. So, first question. How do you define confidence?
I think, as an Enneagram 8, I like to keep things very simple and very straightforward. And I think it boils down to believing in oneself. Mm-hmm. I think that is the underlining definition of confidence. I can go into a whole, dissertation about, what this means. But at least honestly, just believing in oneself, believing in yourself enough to, pursue and push whatever you want to do or do whatever you want to do. But I think just believing in oneself is the confidence, that's kind of the baby of it all, is believing in oneself.
Awesome. So keeping that in mind, how did you get to this place where you believe in yourself? How did you get to this place where this is your definition of confidence?
I think, number one, my faith was a huge part of it. Just believing enough of who God said I was to say, okay, I can do the things God said I can do, which is all things through Christ who strengthens me, the strength me, I'm sorry. So through that, I was able to do that, also on the outside have a great support system, with two wonderful parents, two wonderful brothers, a lovely niece who supports me, her Baba. And so, of course, friends, including you and other people who have just always surrounded me with strength. But I think for myself, I think my confidence came as a result of my support system, my faith in God, but also faith in myself, in my ambition. I've always been very ambitious. I remember one time in particular, and I was at my church I grew up at, the old church, and I grew up when I was little, and the Jordans came out. This is so random, but this is going to show you why I'm confident in, how I defined it. So the Jordans came out and I was very persistent and ambitious with my asking. I wrote notes every Sunday, emails, oh my gosh, printed letters out. And, my parents kept saying, no, it's too expensive. And I said, oh no, I'm going to get these Jordans if I'm going to get them, and I kept pushing it. I've always been ambitious. I ended up getting the Jordans. And so I've always been ambitious in that way. And so I think for me, I've never really struggled with, defining who I was as a person. I think sometimes my struggle came with, hoping people accepted it. But I think because of my ambition alone, I've been able to just believe myself enough to say, I'm going to go after it. I've always just been super duper, go for it. Let's just try it and see. Once again, as a personality, I've always been very headstrong with everything that I've done. And I think that just kind of exuded my confidence. Now, do I feel confident in everything? Not all the time, but my ambition kind of pushes me enough to go for it to see, what happens, so I think that's where my confidence comes from, just my ambition, just to try.
So as someone who, I guess I could say who's naturally confident or has a natural self-assurance, do you think you've always outwardly demonstrated that?
No.
Okay.
No.
How did you get to a place where you were comfortable enough in displaying the confidence that was always on the inside, but now displaying it for all to see, if that makes sense?
That's a good question. I think my comfortability to outwardly show it came with maturity of just getting older. I'm not the same Jaron I was even at 27, 28. I'm not the same Jaron I was then than I am now, especially not 21, 22. Or 15, 14 high school Jaron is definitely different than now Jaron. But I think a lot of that just came from maturity and experience of, you got one life to live at the end of the day. And the more you mature, the the more life keeps going. And it's almost like, for me, it was like, am I going to let people dictate, who I am and what I do to the point where I am not satisfied or fulfilled with my own calling, in my own, ambitions and things like that. And I was like, I think at a certain point, the wheels just kind of started turning, like, I gotta do something with this, like what I want to do. I have to make sure this happens for me. And also, I think part of it, just being honest, was prove people wrong. That's part of my confidence was, people said, oh, you can't do this. I said, okay, I can't, so I will. And then I did it, so then to me, that was part of the whole, confidence factor, especially in my career. It's just, because people, when I first started, kept saying, oh yeah, what you're doing is weird. What you're trying to do with the whole voice thing is very strange. It's
people
like
really said that?
Mm-hmm.
People need to shut up.
Hello? People really said that, like, grad school, beyond. People really said that, or they just kind of didn't take me seriously when I was younger. And I was just kind of like, but I know what I'm trying to do, and I kind of I just always had this clear mindset of how I wanted to treat my career and go after the things I wanted to go after. And now, it's so interesting. Now these very same people are calling me for panels. And,
I'm sure.
And, they call, I remember when Jaron, I said, oh, do you? So I think that's part of my, confidence too, was just by way of proving people wrong because of my personality. I think that that exemplified the confidence. So I'm going to conquer this, not just do it, but conquer it, overcome it, whatever the case may be. And then by that, the results, have been amazing. I'm just going after stuff, and just seeing what happens.
One thing that has always impressed me about you, when you say you're going to do something, you do it. And even watching how you've moved and the things that you've developed, and even watching your brand grow, you have a very clear point of view. You have a very clear aesthetic. It's very clear. And it's not a coincidence. And so, and I think because you've had this concept in your head and you've always had it, and you've always known what it looked like. Even if no one else knew what it looked like, you could see it. And it's so clear. It's so very clear and very clearly articulated. So, yeah, that's always just impressed me about you. Because when you say it, you do it.
That's what I'm telling you.
And even if you start it, you might be like, maybe not right now. But then you always come back around to it.
I remember, speaking of that, I remember when I quit my doctorate program and you talked to me and you were just like, I remember you saying something to the effect of that, but it was kind of like, you are always true to yourself no matter what. And you knew this wasn't for you. And you stepped down, and I remember you saying, like, you'll be fine. You're going to be okay. In the moment, I didn't feel it, cause I just quit the doctor program and I felt like a big failure. But I always think about the conversation when I think about you, how you said that to me. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you texted me or called me or whatever, but I remember it was 2015. I remember when I told you, because you talk about the doctorate programs all the time. I wanted to go. And at the time, I think you were still in the master's. I don't know. I don't remember. Or maybe we were finishing. I don't remember. But I just remember talking to you about, higher education. And when I told you I was stepping down, you were like, I respect the fact that you do what's best for you and that you go after, you are doing what is best for you and go after what is for you. And, you'll be fine. And, I turned out fine.
So it looks like everything's fine to me.
Yeah, everything's fine, but still, I think about a conversation like when I think about you, in just that moment. So that was huge.
Hey, as someone who started a doctoral program and then stopped, I can only speak what I know. Did I come back around to that thing and finish? I did. But in that moment, I wasn't being true to myself. I said I was going to do these things and I wanted to be in this type of program. And then I do the program that's the opposite of everything I said I was going to do. So, yeah, I can only speak what I know.
I love
it.
But
you turned out just fine, to the surprise of no one. So what would you say is your confidence factor? Like, what is, like, I talked to Alicia a couple weeks ago and she called it her special sauce. So what, or her special juice. And so, like, what is the one word or phrase that you would feel like this is Jaron's confidence factor? This is how I show up.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
That's my confidence factor. I feel like I always tell people, I say, I don't care if I'm going to be in front of the top voice professionals in the world or my friends at church. You're going to get the same Jaron across the board. Even in my YouTube videos, and people are always, they're always pleasantly surprised when they call me, like, people who find me on YouTube and get to me. They're always surprised at how the same I am on my YouTube videos than I am in person. I was like, no, I am this. I don't change. I am the same across the board, because when you sign up, when you ask for Jaron, you're going to get Jaron. And I think because I'm always true to myself in that way, I'm able to be comfortable in my own skin in all arenas, and people know what to expect of me. And because I don't have to put on airs or put on anything, I could just walk into a room. I'm going to say y'all. I'm going to say, these words that I always say. I'm going to say this stuff, I'm going to use a little AAV a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of it. That's just who I am. And I've never been a person to back on who I am in that way, especially as a Black man. And so I've kept that element of me. And I think that's part of my magic. I think it's part of my sauce, as Alicia say, it's just my authenticity. So I just say my authenticity, I think, is my confidence factor, because it's real. It's real. It's just me. And so I can be confident in what's real to me, because I know it's a fact, it's reality, so from that, I think that's really, my sauce is the authenticity. So I just say authenticity is my confidence factor. That's what I would say.
I would agree. Not that anybody asked me, but I would agree. Can you think of a moment when your confidence factor was on full display? Like everything was working. And yeah.
I would say, I think I've had several moments of this. Can I give two?
Sure.
Okay. They'll be relatively quick. So one, I think it came in a full swing in London when I went to London to present my workshop. I'm in a room, full of people who don't look like me. I'm the only Black person in the room in the whole conference. And so I come
the
in,
whole conference?
The whole conference. Wow. And I just don't think a lot of Black people are aware of the whole Esther voice thing that I do, which is, I love it. And I remember, I walk in, I got these long locks, I got, darker skin, and I walk in, I'm ready, and of course the first day I walk in late, but that's okay. It was the time change. It's got to me. London, woo, they 5 hours ahead. It was a little different. But I remember I was the last workshop, and I was teaching about gospel music, and I had to sing a song. And I was so nervous to be last, because you have these top voice scientists in the world, literally, are sitting in this room, and they're waiting for this gospel. And I'm thinking, you want me from, I'm from USA, Akron, Ohio, But I remember getting up there, and the way they responded, I almost was in tears. I didn't ask them to stand up. I asked them to clap. I didn't ask them to do any of that. Like they got so into it, and they were so excited, about the music. And it wasn't coming from oh my gosh, it was coming from an authentic place for them. They wanted this outlet, because everything was so sit down and, sit up and write your notes, your question about this and, dignity about that, all these questions. So when I got up there and I said, all right, y'all, we about to sing, just was myself. They beamed, and I mean, the room just uproared in sound, because everybody that can sing. So it was a lot of good singing, I think that was one of the moments where we're like, man, really what I love to do is now taken seriously in my career, because obviously I love gospel. I grew up, we all grew up singing at church, we sung together for years. And so that's always been a part of who I am, my authenticity, and I think that came to full swing that moment, them 45 minutes I was up on the stage talking about how to sing gospel and then teaching them Ricky Diller song. It just came into full swing, and I'm just so excited about that. The other moment, I think, was when I hit 10K on YouTube in January. Because for so long, now this is another thing I wasn't confident in, was my voice, my speaking voice. I didn't like how I sounded when I spoke, for years I didn't like it. I didn't like talking on the phone. People thought I was my mom. To this day, they still do. My niece thinks I'm glammy when I'm on the phone. This happened last week. So this is not anything. But when my YouTube channel started taking off in that way, and it just grew by the leaps and bounds. I mean, 1,000 every 5 days, and people. It was just weird because people, in a great way, because people were buying into who I was as a person. I never thought people would buy into me in that way, but people were just like, "Wow, his personality is so infectious." And I'm thinking, like, not that I'm boring. I'm just going like, whatever. I'm just being myself on camera. Like, oh my God, you smell so much, and your hair is amazing, and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, people are really looking at me, and and just knowing that what I love once again was being a blessing and being, enriching to so many people, at once. It was just like, whoa, like, where are these people coming from? And I think when I hit that 10K, like, I cried. I remember sitting in this very chair. It was 10,023. That was a number that switched. And I remember looking at my computer. I have a desktop right here, and I just started crying. I'll call my mom crying. I was just so, like, it's just so many emotions because I worked so hard on this brand and who the studio was and what the studio is, to then 10,000 people already are like tuning in, and now I'm close. I think I'm 13 or 14K, something like 13K, one of the two. But I mean, just still, and I haven't posted in 2 months, but I think that moment of 10K was just like, Jaron, what you doing is not in vain. Like, this is it. This is what you've been praying for, waiting on. I still think there's a lot more, but just those 2 moments recently were huge for me. Of just like, wow, like, this is something I made. This is something that I burst out of my brain, and now it's like, people are really like looking for it and like taking it in. And like, I mean, people have been messaging me, where your videos at? I ain't no video, but I was like, I have to move and being an adult for a second. I said, so I'm gonna get back on this month, I'm gonna get back to recording. I said, but I had to just take a beat and take care of some things.
Right.
But yeah, I think those two are recently, those 2 biggest moments were those 2 moments.
The conference in London, was there an Instagram post? Was there a video? I thought so. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was a video.
That was it. Yeah. Good singing. Good singing.
Real good singing.
Oh,
real good singing.
I was like, all right, y'all. And like I said, they responded so enamored. Like, it was just like, I had to do no pulling. As soon as I sang the first note, they was on their feet. I was like, wait, no, we didn't even get the song yet. But so yeah, that was that moment.
That's awesome. So for my final question, if you could pick a number between 1 and 32.
Okay. And then, just pick a number.
Yeah, pick a number.
Okay. I'm going to say 14.
Okay. Okay. So knowing what you know now and knowing what you've experienced and what you've learned and how you've grown in your confidence, your outward confidence, what would you tell your 14-year-old self?
I think I would tell him, you're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be okay. At 14, I was in high school. And I really didn't know what I wanted to. I knew I wanted to sing, but I didn't know how I wanted to do everything. And I think that I remember questioning a lot of things, like, do I really want to be a singer? Do I really want to? Because people think when you sing and when you do this, when you're an artist, when you're whatever, they think you have to be just that, and you can't be anything else. And I've always loved singing, but I never really had a passion for it to be my main thing. I call it a lucrative hobby, if you will.
Okay, I like that.
Just let it be fun and make money with it.
I like it.
So yeah, but I think I would just tell my 14-year-old self, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. They'll love that voice that you have that you hate right now. They're going to love it at some point. They're going to love the fact that you got different hair and different stuff going on. They're going to love it. They don't like it now because they don't understand it, but they're going to love it later. Just hold on. Just hold on to it. You'll be just fine. Use that voice. Don't let it go. Be the soprano you always have been. You'll be just fine.
You're not a bass?
Well, in my spirit, I'm a bass. Yes, I'm a bass in my spirit, but the overtones make me sound like a soprano. That's what it is.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, I would just tell my 40-year-old self that you'll be fine. They'll love it. They'll love it. Mm-hmm.
Jaron, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today and for sharing your journey and just some of the lessons that you've learned over the years. I really appreciate it. But before you go, let everybody know where they can find you on social media, YouTube, all of that. And then what are you working on next?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So my socials for my studio, if you look up JMLEGRAIRSTUDIO on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, I am on all of those. My YouTube, if you type in Jaron LeGrair Studio, you type in my name on YouTube, I will pop up. Jaron LeGrair, even if you want to just type in that, or LeGrair, honestly, I'll probably pop in on that too. So subscribe to my YouTube channel, my studio YouTube channel, and follow me on any socials that you choose to want to follow me on. You can also book a session if you want for private voice or speech coaching at jmlegrairstudio.com. I do private coaching and things like that for all of my clients. And so find me on there. I love to see and talk to you. And what I'm working on right now, honestly, is kind of getting back to being a visionary. I'm hoping to build a team. I am going to start building a team this month. It's been about 3 years in the making, help God, but we are there now. And so, I want to get back to kind of executing some projects that I've kind of put on the back burner because I had to be doing other things. So, maybe some workshops and master classes, in the very near future, expanding into teaching children ongoing, in the very near future. So just things like that, just small little projects, kind of expanding the brand again and kind of getting back to that. Some new products are on the horizon as well.
Yay.
So, hopefully this summer, either fall, we'll see some of that happen. COVID kind of stopped some of these products from happening, honestly. So I feel like things are starting to kind of pick back up with that. So I'm hoping this summer we can kind of go back to kind of finishing these projects that I have, on my to-do list, I should say. So yeah, just kind of working on creative stuff. Hopefully singing some more. YouTube will be coming back, or season 2. Somebody said, this is your next season. I said, come on, season.
All right now. Season.
I'm like, right. I'm like, season.
I love it.
So season 2 will be coming later on in March or April. So so follow me on the socials. You'll see the debut of that. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. And just a note, the vocal classes and the vocal coaching is not just for singers.
It's not.
So
yes. Everybody, speakers, podcasts, YouTube, you name it. I've had corporate, nonprofit leaders, politicians, you name it. I've had it in here. So yes, for everybody, use their voice.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me, friend.
Yay. And we're done.
Oh! Yay!
Thank you, everybody, for listening to The Confidence Factor. Be sure to check out my website at www.beshawesome or beshawesome.com. You can also check me out on Instagram at b.shawesome. As always, thank you to Golden Ox Studios for making this a reality week after week.
The confidence factor.